this is an incredibly important example from Nottingham City in the north of the country, where again they've got the elevated roundabout, they've got the pedestrians pushed underneath. But the good people of Nottingham decided this was wrong in their city centre. They shouldn't be doing this, they should actually be putting the pedestrian first. And so they've taken it out, they've put back the boulevard, they've put back simple crossroads at the centre of that junction. Look at all the space that gets returned to the pedestrian. And this is all with 50,000 vehicles a day. It's an incredibly busy bit of highway. Yet they decided this is what they should be doing in the city centre. It was late Mrs. Gorringe who was driving home one day, and she drove around by a sharp bend and crashed into a bus. And she wasn't killed, but was seriously injured. She took the council to court because that sharp bend had always had slow painted on the ground, big white letters. The road had been resurfaced a few months earlier. The slow had not been painted. And so she was taking them to court, arguing that they had a duty of care to warn her of that sharp bend. It ended up in the Lords, which is the highest level of courts in this country. She didn't win her case, and the Lords said a few very pertinent things. This is where the law sits. They said that the courts must not contribute to the creation of a society bent on litigation, which is premised on the illusion that every misfortune is a remedy. So our take on that is, accidents do happen. Living in the world can be a dangerous place. Accidents happen. There's not always someone to blame. The last two here, most importantly, the use of the highway with respect to look after themselves. The drivers of vehicles must take the highway network as they find it. So in this country, you step into a car, you're in control, the accelerator, the brake, and you're actually responsible for your actions. And that's where the law sits. It means that as designers, we can produce more oriented designs. We don't have to fill them up with white lines and signs, because ultimately the driver is responsible for their outcome. We're still doing it again. This is only a few years old. An enormous sight line. This is the area given to driver visibility. The pedestrian is supposed to be this. So here's the drop curve. Yet we will do this. We've got good vision, able body, a straight line. And so we looked at visibility. We looked at the criteria that were being applied in the UK. We understood that highway code tells us 30 miles an hour. We can stop at 23 metres. We looked around the world. In the Netherlands and Australia, they allow 40 metres. In the States, I understand it's about 63 metres. In the UK, we've been building to 70 metres or 90 metres for the last 30 years from DB32. And no one can tell us where those figures came from. In 2 years of research, no one knows where the figures came from. So we said, let's go and do our own research. We worked with a company called TRL, Transport Research Laboratory. They went out and surveyed the visibility and speed. And sure enough, found that speed increases with road width, and that speed increases with visibility, both links and junctions. The more